You were taught that Earth is home, that nowhere else in the vastness of space could ever rival the blue oasis we call our own. But what if everything you've believed about Earth's uniqueness is wrong? Imagine this: 4.2 light-years away, hidden in the flickering glow of a distant red star, lies a world cloaked in shadow, tethered to its sun like a chained moon, forever facing one side toward searing light, and the other toward eternal darkness. This is Proxima Centauri B, a planet orbiting the closest star to our own. A planet so near, in cosmic terms, that some dare to whisper, this could be our next Earth. But stop right there, because this isn't the fantasy you've seen painted in glossy headlines or hopeful science fiction novels. This is something far stranger and far more terrifying. You see, Proxima B doesn't rotate like Earth. One side is scorched under constant daylight, while the other is frozen beneath an endless night. You were taught that habitable zones are safe havens, but what if they hide alien deserts of unlivable extremes? And yet, there is a region, a thin twilight belt wrapped around the planet, where the light and dark kiss in perpetual dusk. A place where temperatures might be just right. A place where liquid water could flow. A place where life might emerge. But that's the problem, isn't it? Might. Scientists have hailed Proxima B as the best candidate for humanity's second home. But is that hope misplaced? Is this world a lifeboat waiting for us, or a mirage in the cosmic void? Because for every answer we chase, new questions ripple outward. Can humans live on Proxima B? Or is it a cruel echo of Earth, just close enough to tempt us, yet forever out of reach? You think space travel is an adventure? That colonizing another planet is merely a matter of time? But Proxima B demands a sacrifice, one that stretches beyond physics, beyond biology, beyond the comfort of what it means to be human. Because in the silence between the stars, survival isn't guaranteed. It's borrowed. We've scanned its atmosphere, searching for signs of habitability. Some models suggest an atmosphere thick enough to trap heat, circulate air, and protect from deadly radiation. Others warn of a barren rock, its surface stripped by solar flares from its volatile red dwarf sun. We don't know if Proxima B has water. We don't even know if it breathes. But here's what you need to understand. Even if it is livable, even if it is safe, even if it is waiting for us, the journey alone would take thousands of years with our current propulsion. So ask yourself, what technology is needed to reach Proxima B? What unimaginable breakthrough will carry us across the void? And when we arrive, who will we become? Because colonization is not conquest. It is transformation. The moment we set foot on another world, we are no longer the species we were. Every breath taken beneath a foreign sky rewrites the human story. This isn't about exploring Proxima B. This is about becoming something else entirely. You were told the stars are full of promise. But what if they're not promising salvation? What if they're whispering temptation? Because here's the truth. Proxima B might be the next Earth, or it might be a cosmic siren, calling us into the abyss, and beyond its rocky surface, past the veils of speculation and the mirrors of hope, lies a deeper, darker truth. You've spent your life looking outward, but what if the universe is a test? What if Proxima B is the question, and we are the answer? Let that echo for a moment, because this is not just a story about a distant planet. This is the unraveling of a belief that Earth is enough, that we are meant to stay. You were born on one world, but you may not die on it. And the only question that matters now is this: is Proxima B the next home for humanity? Or the final lie we tell ourselves before the darkness claims us all? In the beginning, there was darkness. Not the kind you know, but a silence so vast and undisturbed that even the word beginning feels like an insult. And then something happened. Not a bang, not a flash, but a ripple. A quiet, unstoppable swelling of space-time itself, unfolding like a story whose author had just dipped their pen into the void. The young cosmos was no bigger than a grain of dust. Yet inside it, everything you've ever known, every planet, every star, every heartbeat, was curled tight like a sleeping god. Expansion didn't explode outward in chaos. It stretched like fabric in slow motion. Time and space began painting themselves onto nothing. Galaxies didn't rush outward. They grew outward, born from density and light. You could imagine it as a clock with no hands, ticking forward into a future that didn't yet exist. And in that unfolding tapestry, somewhere near the edge of our spiral galaxy, a tiny star flickered awake. It wasn't impressive. No roaring furnace like our sun. Just a faint red ember, glowing dimly in the cold night of interstellar space. Proxima Centauri, the closest star to our sun. A red dwarf, small, temperamental, quiet, and circling it, locked in an invisible grip. A planet. Proxima B. At first, its existence was nothing more than a whisper in the data, a wobble in a star's light, a gravitational nudge too subtle for the naked eye. But when astronomers confirmed it in 2016, something shifted, not just in science, but in us. Because for the first time, we weren't just speculating about distant galaxies or hypothetical Earth-like worlds in faraway star systems. No, this was close. This was real. Proxima B exists just 4.2 light-years away. Not across the universe. Not in another dimension. Here, within reach. And the whispers got louder. Is Proxima B in the habitable zone? Could it have liquid water? Does its rocky surface echo the landscapes of Earth? Could it support life? Not just alien life, but our life. This wasn't just another exoplanet. This was the exoplanet, the one close enough to tempt our ambition, to tease the idea that maybe, just maybe, we're not forever trapped on this fragile blue sphere. Maybe we could go there. Maybe we could live there. But here's where the cracks begin to show. Proxima B orbits its star in just 11 days. That's not a typo. A full year, one complete revolution around its sun, happens in less than 2 weeks. It hugs its parent star so tightly that scientists believe it's tidally locked. One hemisphere always faces the light, the other, eternal night. On Earth, the sun rises and sets. On Proxima B, it doesn't. Now pause, because you were told that the habitable zone is a Goldilocks strip of space, just right for life. Not too hot, not too cold. But what if that definition is too simple? What if being in the habitable zone doesn't mean a world is truly habitable? Because the side of Proxima B facing the star could be a scorched wasteland, baked by relentless solar flares, and the far side? A frozen tomb of silence and shadow. But there's a sliver, an edge, a narrow belt between night and day, a ring where light and dark meet in eternal twilight. It's called the Terminator Zone, and scientists believe this might be the sweet spot. Here, heat and cold could balance. Here, water could exist in liquid form. Here, life might cling to the edge of existence, and that's the word that haunts us now. Might, what would it take to colonize Proxima B? Could we terraform it? Could we build shelters strong enough to withstand the radiation storms of its volatile sun? Could our biology adapt to the harsh rhythms of a planet that never sees a true sunrise? We don't know. And that not knowing is what gives the question its power. Because even now, spacecraft are too slow. Light takes 4.2 years to reach Proxima B, but humans, with current technology, would take tens of thousands. Generational ships, cryogenic sleep, concepts once relegated to science fiction are now being drawn on whiteboards at real space agencies. Because if Earth falls, if climate change, resource collapse, or cosmic disaster renders our planet uninhabitable, we'll need a plan. And when people ask, how can we travel to Proxima B, they aren't just dreaming. They're calculating, building, preparing. And yet, we still have no photographs of the surface, no landers, no rovers, only light, a trembling echo in a star's glow. And from that, we try to conjure a future. But here's where the mythic cracks through the scientific. We imagine Proxima B as a mirror, another Earth, a place to start over. But what if it's not a promise? What if it's a warning? A whisper that says, just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Because the deeper we peer into the cosmos, the more we see of ourselves, our hunger, our hope, our hubris. Every question we ask about Proxima B, does it have water? Could it support human life? Is really a question about us. We see that distant world not as it is, but as we need it to be. And that is dangerous. Because Proxima B is not waiting for us. It's indifferent. It does not care whether we arrive. It has no invitation to offer. It is a world in motion, untouched by dreams of human survival. But still, we look. Because perhaps the true value of Proxima B isn't in what it is, but in what it means. It means we're not done asking. It means we still believe in tomorrows. It means we haven't yet surrendered to the idea that Earth is both our cradle and our coffin. And as the silence of space stretches between us and that distant planet, a single riddle remains. If Proxima B is a second Earth, why hasn't it already spoken back? You have always lived in the illusion of stability, a spinning rock, warmed by a star, blanketed by air and water. But zoom out just a little, and the illusion begins to crack. The universe is not built on balance. It is a playground of extremes. And if Proxima B is truly to become our next Earth, then we must confront those extremes not just with technology, but with truth. First, consider gravity, the silent sculptor of everything you see. On Proxima B, gravity is estimated to be similar to Earth's, perhaps slightly stronger. That's comforting. We can adapt to that. Muscles will ache, but not fail. Bones will bear the load. But gravity alone is not what makes a world habitable. What matters more is the air we breathe. The atmosphere of Proxima B remains a ghost, a question wrapped in shadow. Some simulations suggest it could retain an atmosphere dense, enough to trap heat, circulate air, and even shield against radiation. But the key word is could. If Proxima B lacks a magnetic field, solar flares from Proxima Centauri, its hyperactive red dwarf host, would strip that atmosphere bare, like peeling skin from bone. Proxima Centauri is no gentle sun. It erupts frequently in massive stellar flares, bombarding its planet with deadly X-rays and ultraviolet radiation. Earth's magnetic field shields us from such fury. But on Proxima B, if unprotected, life would be under siege every second. So what about shelter? Could we build beneath the ground, beneath oceans, beneath domes? Maybe. But then ask, what kind of life adapts to constant siege? What kind of civilization grows when every sunrise is a threat? Still, we push forward. Let's talk about water. On Earth, water is life. On Proxima B, we don't know. No oceans have been seen, no rivers, no clouds. But the terminator zone, the ring between the eternal light and the endless dark, offers hope. If Proxima B has any kind of atmosphere and the right pressure, it's there that water might remain liquid, not in abundance, but maybe in puddles, maybe in hidden aquifers beneath the surface. And if there is water, then perhaps, just perhaps, there is life. But what kind of life? Would it crawl in the twilight, feeding on geothermal heat? Would it be carbon-based like us? Or would it be something utterly alien, forged not in sunlight, but in magnetic storms and darkness? We've seen extremophiles on Earth, organisms that thrive in boiling acid, freezing ice, nuclear radiation. Life is not fragile, it's defiant. But would it dare to rise under a red sun? This is where comparison becomes seductive. Proxima B versus Earth. Size, similar. Mass, close enough. Temperature, potentially within the range for habitability. But temperature is not climate. Distance is not destiny. You see, Earth dances. It spins, it tilts, it breathes. Its seasons are symphonies. But Proxima B is frozen in place, tidally locked. One side burned, one side iced. No sunsets, no moons, just a sky split in two. Still, in the twilight belt between extremes, something extraordinary could be happening. Imagine standing in that narrow zone. Look east, blinding light. Look west, starlit void. Above, a sky of flickering red, filled with auroras born from magnetic storms. The ground beneath your feet trembles slightly from tidal stress. The wind is slow but relentless, whispering between realms of fire and ice. And now we ask, could humans live here? Not comfortably, not naturally, but survival? Possibly. Colonization would mean adaptation. Biodomes engineered to regulate temperature and pressure. Radiation shielding baked into every wall. Artificial ecosystems grown in carefully controlled chambers. Spacesuits designed not for vacuum, but for twilight. Technology will be our lungs, our skin, our shield. And yet, we are not just flesh and machine. We are also minds. And our minds crave rhythm, day and night, sleep and wake. On Proxima B, circadian rhythms will collapse. Time becomes irrelevant. Clocks will lie. Light will be foreign. But perhaps this is the price of progress. To escape Earth's cradle, we must break Earth's rules, even the rules of biology. We may need to edit our DNA, enhance radiation resistance, alter melatonin production, engineer lungs to process thinner air. If we colonize Proxima B, we won't just be visitors. We'll be mutants, offshoots of humanity, bred for survival on a world that never asked for us. So the question is not, can humans live on Proxima B? The question is, can we live with who we'll become if we do? Because transformation is inevitable. If Proxima B becomes home, Earth will become legend. A story we tell under a foreign sky. Now imagine this. A child born on Proxima B. They never see a blue sky. They never hear thunder or feel an ocean breeze. They are taught Earth as mythology. And they ask you one day, as you look across a glass dome at a red-tinted sunset, what was it like? And in that moment, you realize you are no longer a pioneer. You are an ancestor. You've crossed a line. The moment you set foot on Proxima B, Earth stops being your future. And that is the weight of possibility. We're not just exploring Proxima B, we're shaping the next version of us. And now, let's go deeper. There is a paradox in the stars. The more we search for life, the more silence we find. This is the Fermi paradox. If the galaxy is ancient, vast, and full of stars older than ours, where is everyone? And that silence echoes in Proxima B. Because if life can exist there, if the terminator zone is stable, if water flows, if alien microbes swim in its oceans, why haven't we seen a signal? A flicker? A sign? Maybe Proxima B once hosted life. Maybe it still does. Or maybe it never had a chance. Some theorists suggest that planets around red dwarfs are poor cradles for life. Tidal locking, flares, radiation. Long gestation periods of stability, followed by sudden extinction. Life may start, but never get far. If that's true, then Proxima B is a tomb. But others argue the opposite. That life adapts. That twilight. Zones offer stability. That evolution finds a way in the strangest places. And so we scan. We listen. We wait. What if we're not alone? What if Proxima B already has life, hidden beneath the surface, communicating not with radio waves, but through chemical pulses or magnetic fields? What if we simply don't know how to listen? Then there's another possibility, one far more terrifying. What if we're not supposed to go there, because the cosmos may not be empty? It may be quarantined. This leads us into the simulation hypothesis, that the universe is not real, not truly, that we exist inside a simulated construct, maintained by forces beyond comprehension. In such a reality, Proxima B might be code, a placeholder, a pixelated promise never meant to be reached. And if that's true, what happens when we get close? What if traveling to Proxima B is like walking to the edge of a video game world, only to find the ground unrendered? But let's not descend too far into digital paranoia. Instead, consider Boltzmann brains. According to this theory, it is statistically more likely for a single conscious brain to spontaneously form from quantum chaos than for the entire ordered universe to exist. Which means you may be nothing more than a thought, a lone awareness dreaming of Earth, Proxima B, and all in between. A hallucination, floating in entropy. If so, then Proxima B is not a destination. It's a detail in your dream. And still, we press on, because even in madness, we seek meaning. Could Proxima B be a gateway? A stepping stone not to survival, but transcendence. Some speculate about quantum consciousness, how the brain may be entangled with the fabric of space itself. If so, reaching a new world isn't just a physical act, it's a spiritual one. Colonizing Proxima B could be like entering a new chapter of the universe's mind, a higher state of awareness. And what about the multiverse? What if Proxima B exists in 1,000 variations across infinite realities? In one, it's lifeless. In another, teeming with cities and oceans. In yet another, destroyed by war before we ever arrive. Maybe we already made it there in another strand of existence. Maybe we died trying. Maybe, in one version, they came here first. This is the madness of deep time and infinite space. It's not enough to ask, is Proxima B the next Earth? We must ask, which Proxima B? Because we are not observers. We are participants. We shape reality by looking at it. The more we search for truth, the more reality bends around the questions we dare to ask. And here's the final twist. We think of Proxima B as the next step. But what if it's the last? If we go there, if we arrive and thrive, we may never look back. Earth will fade in our mythology, replaced by new skies, new gods, new memories. We will have crossed the cosmic Rubicon. Because Proxima B isn't just a world, it's a mirror. And when we look into it, we don't see alien landscapes or oceans of possibility. We see ourselves, distorted, reimagined, reborn, and somewhere, buried deep in its twilight sands, we will find not just the future of humanity, but the reason we ever looked up in the eye to first place. You've spent the last few moments traversing galaxies in your mind, diving through black holes of theory and oceans of speculation. You've stood in the cold glow of Proxima B's eternal twilight and dared to imagine a life beyond Earth. But now it gets personal. Now, it's not about science. It's about you. Because here's the uncomfortable truth you can't unsee. If humanity does reach Proxima B, you won't be going. Not really. Not unless everything you are is broken down, digitized, preserved in cold metal and wire, and shot across the void in a capsule of simulated memory. Or unless you are one of the chosen, born on Earth, buried in space, reborn on a planet that doesn't know your name. You were born into this world, into gravity and oceans and a sky that changes its colors with the sun. But Proxima B offers no such gifts, no tides, no seasons, no breeze that smells like rain. If you were to land there, would it feel like home, or would it feel like exile? You see, it's easy to dream about colonizing another planet when you're safe and warm, when you can close your laptop and step outside into starlight. But survival on Proxima B would come with a cost, and it's not just measured in radiation exposure or atmospheric loss. It's measured in humanity. We define ourselves by our environment, by our rituals, by our sunrises. What happens when all of that is stripped away? When you raise a child under a red sky that never changes? When you look up and see no familiar constellations? When the word Earth becomes a distant echo? A myth whispered in recycled air? Can you still call yourself human when everything human has been left behind? There is a kind of horror in that. Not the screaming kind, the quiet kind. The kind that creeps in during the silence of deep space, when the hum of machinery is your only lullaby, when the walls of your habitat are the only thing separating you from oblivion. This is the cosmic horror of existence, that the more we explore, the more we risk forgetting who we are. You were born into a world with music and bird song, with grass between your toes and clouds overhead. On Proxima B, you will hear none of it. You will walk on rock that has never known the weight of life. You will breathe air filtered by machines, drink water recycled from your own sweat. Speak in whispers, because sound doesn't travel far in sealed domes. And still, we call this hope, because the alternative is extinction. Maybe this is why we're obsessed with Proxima B. Not because we're ready to go, but because we're terrified of staying. We see our planet slipping through our fingers, oceans rising, temperatures climbing, forests burning, and we look to the stars not as explorers, but as refugees. And Proxima B? It becomes our fantasy of escape, a backup plan, a cosmic reset. But that's the lie, isn't it? Because there is no reset, no world waiting with open arms, no second Earth, just another silence, just another trial. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes it sacred. Because if we choose to go, if we choose to brave the distance, the isolation, the irreversible transformation, it will not be because it's easy. It will be because it's hard, because we refused to die quietly on the only rock we've ever known, because we dared to dream when nothing guaranteed survival. But survival is not the same as living, and so we must ask the deeper questions. What does it mean to build a civilization on a planet that never turns? What kind of art would you create in a world without day and night? Would you mourn Earth? Would you celebrate the unknown? Would you cling to your culture? Or create a new one from the dust? There is no blueprint for becoming an interstellar species. There is only fear, and courage, and a horizon that never stops retreating. So when you look at Proxima B, don't just see it as a planet, see it as a mirror. Because whatever waits for us there, hostile or habitable, barren or blooming, it will not shape us. We will shape it. We will carve stories into its rocks, write poems in its winds, raise children who will never know what it means to lose their breath, climbing Earth's mountains, or to laugh beneath the aurora of the north. But they will create new stories, new myths, new reasons to live. And that is what raises the stakes. This isn't about survival. It's about becoming more than what we are, or fading into the background radiation of a universe that never knew our name. So, ask yourself, would you go? Would you leave behind everything you know? Not for safety, not for comfort, but for the possibility of a story that continues? Proxima B is not the answer. It's the question. And how we answer it will define everything that comes after. And now, the silence deepens. You've made it this far, through the corridors of science and the chambers of human emotion. You've stood at the edge of Proxima B's eternal dusk and stared into the unknown. But there's something you haven't yet considered. Not fully. What if Proxima B isn't the future? What if it's the end? Because even if we conquer every obstacle, survive the journey, terraform the surface, build cities beneath the red sky, there is something larger looming beyond the horizon of our understanding. Something older than any planet, colder than any vacuum. Something final. Entropy. The slow, inevitable decay of all things. The universe doesn't burn out in fire. It freezes. Galaxies drift apart. Stars exhaust their fuel. Black holes evaporate into nothing. Time stretches thin, like glass about to crack. This is the heat death of the universe. Not a bang, not a scream, but a whisper, fading. And in that vast, dark silence, what becomes of Proxima B? What becomes of us? Maybe we make it there. Maybe we build a new world. And maybe we last a little longer than Earth did. But even the best-designed colonies cannot stop the cold mathematics of time. Eventually, the last human breath will fog the last window on the last outpost. And then there is nothing. Unless that's not the end. Some physicists believe heat death isn't a conclusion. It's a transition. that the end of entropy may ignite the conditions for a new beginning, a reversal, a reset, a second spark. Picture this. The galaxies have stilled. The stars have gone silent. All that remains is the echo of what once was. And somewhere, in the total absence of energy, a fluctuation stirs. A wrinkle in space-time, a tremble that grows, and from that flicker, another big bang. Not the same universe, not the same laws, something else. Could that be the purpose of Proxima B? Not a place to survive, but a place to prepare. A training ground for a species learning how to transcend time itself. Maybe our journey to Proxima B isn't about saving humanity. Maybe it's about evolving it. Because to become truly cosmic, we must let go of what we are. Imagine it. A civilization that survives not by preserving Earth, but by mastering reality. Taming the vacuum. Folding space-time. Harnessing entropy itself. This is not science fiction. This is what the numbers suggest. And so we return to that haunting image. You, standing on the surface of Proxima B. Above you, the sky is no longer red. It is black. Not with night, but with silence. The sun has dimmed. The stars are thin, scattered, quiet. And you realize you are witnessing the last moments of light. But instead of despair, you feel something else. Peace. Because you know this isn't the end. It's a doorway. The last human steps are also the first. The end of this universe could be the birth of the next. And maybe, just maybe, everything we've done, every rocket launched, every colony built, every breath taken under alien skies, was never about escaping death. It was about reaching the place where something new could begin. Proxima B is not salvation. It is transformation. It is the final test, and when we pass through it, if we pass through it, we will no longer be bound by the rules of Earth, of biology, of even this universe. We will become the echo of fire, the architects of time, the authors of the next creation, and in that darkness, a second spark. And now, we return to the question that started it all. Is Proxima B the next home for humanity? After all we've explored, after diving through the fabric of space, unraveling the paradoxes of time, and confronting the terrifying beauty of our cosmic insignificance, do you feel closer to an answer? Or does the question now echo louder? Because this was never just about a distant planet orbiting a red dwarf star. It was about us, our longing to escape, our fear of extinction, our hunger to endure. You were born on Earth, yes, but you were never meant to stay here forever. Not because Earth is dying, though it may be. Not because the stars are calling, though they are. But because something inside you has always reached beyond what is known, beyond what is safe, beyond what is human. That's what makes you extraordinary. You are not a passive observer of this universe. You are a response to it, a question asked by the stars, answered by your existence. Proxima B may be hostile, frozen, scorched. It may be habitable or hollow, but it doesn't matter, because what matters now is what it represents. It represents choice. Do we stay on Earth and preserve what we are? Or do we step into the unknown, knowing we can never return as the same species? Do we fear the dark? Or do we carry our own light into it? There is no instruction manual for colonizing another world. There is no precedent for building a home on a planet with no day or night. But that has never stopped us before. We crossed oceans when the horizon looked like the edge of the world. We reached for the moon when rockets were dreams made of smoke and courage. And now, the next ocean is space. The next continent is Proxima B, but don't mistake this for a science experiment. This is poetry. This is prophecy. This is the moment when the myth of Earth ends, and the myth of us truly begins. So, will you be the last generation to dream of stars, or the first to touch them? Let that question burn in your mind. Let it unsettle you. Because Earth was never the end of the story. It was only the first chapter. And maybe, just maybe, Proxima B is not the sequel. It's the punctuation. A cosmic comma before the sentence turns into something even the universe has not yet imagined. Because the universe is not a machine. It's not a destination. It's a question still being asked. And you're part of the answer. So keep wondering, keep reaching, keep asking, what? If we're not just visitors in this cosmos, what if we're the purpose? What if we're not alone? Because we were never meant to be. Proxima B is waiting, not with open arms, not with safety or certainty, but with silence. And in that silence, a challenge. Not, can you survive? But, can you evolve? Share this story. Not because it has answers, but because it refuses to stop asking the most important question of all. What comes next?